Sexual violence, one of many weapons of war used during 8 months of occupation by invading forces, has caused multiple physical as well as emotional wounds for tens of thousands of women and girls across Tigray. Many have been raped, gang raped, and forced into sexual slavery. We visited Hawzen in eastern Tigray and met with several survivors that say days into the occupation of their small town in November, Eritrean soldiers would start to attack civilians, especially women, inflicting unspeakable violence on young women and girls.
دفرني 4 أيام كعا مجمرة حداتو.
I was raped by 4 soldiers. First, one soldier came into my house. He was unarmed, so I thought I could fight him off. While I was fighting the first soldier, the rest came in to help him. They beat my children and forced them out of the house, and then 4 of them raped me.
Another survivor says the Eritrean forces first arrived at her house, asked her about Tigrayan forces. When she told them she didn't know anything, they would beat her and torture her before they gang raped her.
It was the most painful thing I'd ever experienced. It was the 27th of November, and they came into our district. First, the Eritrean troops took my brother from home and executed him on the valley. They asked me where the enemy was, and I told them I knew nothing. They didn't even give me enough time to answer them properly. They started beating me, asking how it was that I didn't know where the enemy was. One of the soldiers slapped me. I went into shock. After that, they all came into my house and raped me.
The survivor tells us she was 3 months pregnant at the time. She says that the amount of violence she experienced was so severe that her and her unborn baby's life were in danger and had to give birth in Ider's intensive care unit.
The pregnancy grew higher on my uterus than it was supposed to. I was unable to give birth naturally, so I gave birth with a lot of assistance at Ider.
The blockade on medical supplies makes the situation of these survivors even more difficult. For nearly 2 years now, these women have not received the support that is required to help them recuperate.
They told me I have a uterus infection, but I didn't get treatment because there is no medication.
My mental health is in question. My mind is never at peace. I get depressed.
Their stories represent that of many Tigrayan women and girls in desperate need of physical and psychological treatment. And equally important is that all survivors are served justice.